want you, man.
Right.
Oh, what they gonna do next year?
Motivation and ambition is what got me far in life. There's only two ways out the struggle. Either you crawl or you fly. I'm talking titles, deeds, ownership. I'm not impressing, I'm investing. Now, that's ownership. Shout out to Nipsey's hustle. Now, we can all have ownership. Now that's ownership.
Like, that's what we do. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? When you know what I'm saying? You know. Shoot.
Oh man. Look, enough about that. We trying to find out, man. Who do you think you are? That's the question I'm trying to find out. That's what we really want to know. Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am?
Yes.
Man? Shoot. Honestly, man, I'm just a young brother from, Greensboro, North Kakalaki. You know what I'm saying? I think that I'm a healer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think I'm an educator. I think, I'm a lover of people.
Mm.
I just think that, I'm here to, fulfill a greater purpose. Not on no, I got all the answers. I'm higher than all you, mortal, fools. But I do really think that, God got me here to, make an impact.
Right.
That's, bigger than me.
Gotcha. And so for the audience, just give them your name real quick too.
Audience. My name is Nick Courmon, also known as NDC Poetry in these streets.
All right.
NDC is those are my initials.
Okay.
Look,
I promise you, I hadn't figured that out. Because I didn't know when Max, Crystal, I call her Max, when she would say, yeah, Nick, and I'm like, who? She was like, the poet I told you about. So this is going some months back, and I'm like, yo, like who? She was like, yo, the one, remember I sent you like, da-da. I'm like, okay, Nick, all right. I'm like, it's NDC Poetry. I know people by their Instagram name. So just say NDC or something, but she never would. She would always just say Nick. And so I always wondered, what does NDC stand for? And it's crazy that I don't know because some of the stuff that I do for work,
right, they
call us by our initials. So mine's CLH, and I never, until just now when you said it, never put together that NDC is your initial.
Hey, look, man, I'm working on because people always ask me what NDC stand for. I'm like, it's like my initials. But then I'm also, I just wanted to do a poem where, I break it down and
right,
have, several different, what I'm saying? Like I got a couple different meanings, like on the basketball court, NDC stands for never doubt the crossover. Or you know what I'm saying? Or like in regular everyday life, you know what I'm saying? NDC, never doubt Christ. You know what I'm saying? It's
okay,
it's
you got the acronyms going for
you know what I'm saying?
situations, depending on who asks.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So
you who?
Yeah, a little bit, you know what I'm saying? A little bit. I ain't no Michael Jordan or nothing like that, but I get down on the court, from time to time.
We're gonna have to hit the court, bro.
Oh, absolutely, man. Let me know.
I ain't played in a minute. Since I started Inspired, after when I cut a whole bunch of stuff.
For real.
But yeah, I hoop pretty seriously, man. Up into little junior college.
You was hooping.
A little bit.
Oh, you was hooping.
Hey,
look, you.
Yeah, man, we used to get it in, yo. We used to get it in. Ball. I always tell people, ball was life before ball is life. Before they ever had the company Ball is Life, ball was all I cared about, bro.
That's crazy. Hey, look, man, you got the body type to be a mean wing defender too, bro.
I was.
I can see it 3-and-D out there. You know what I'm saying? They're locking up.
Yeah, once I ain't had no jumper in high school. It was real suspect. But by the time I got to college, oh yeah, she was.
Oh, got to.
She was, cause I knew like, okay, I'm going to college. I definitely want to play ball, and I worked on that thing. So like my senior year going into, that thing got crazy.
You want nothing to be messed with. I ain't
I
mad at you.
don't know what it is now. Ain't no telling, but yeah, me and my brother, man, we used to hoop all the time up until about 3 years ago.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, nah, you still.
Deshaun hoops too.
You still got it. Look, I would hope Deshaun does hoop. You know what I'm
He
saying?
is about 8 feet tall.
Design, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Design out here. Look, I can see him talking trash, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
on the court in rhyme, in rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Just while he look down at you.
Right. Yeah, man. I have a hoop with Desan, Shakes,
He look like he look too, man. All these.
T. Walker. So me and T. Walker from the same area.
That's
him and my
wild.
brother are like around the same age. So I remember when T. Walker was a snot nose, bro.
That's wild.
Hooping. And I can put it out there because I know people still calling that, but his name Buster, so that was his nickname. So I remember when Little Buster used to come to the court and he had his handlers. We was like, okay, look at Little Buster getting it in. I remember T. Walker like when he was little, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like maybe 13, 14. He like 10. You know what I'm saying? When I was 14, he's probably like 10. Maybe a
Bruh.
little bit younger than that. Yeah, so bro, we used to get in something serious on the court. I was still playing up to 4 days a week, bro.
That's crazy. I'm surprised you ain't never played with J. Cole out here. You know what I'm saying? When he was in that little
I
league. out
always
here, man.
I always was at a different gym when he was at this gym. I
See,
hear
I
about
knew it.
he was at that
I knew
one.
it.
Or I be playing in this tournament and I heard he was at this tournament. Like we always just
That's wild.
miss each other, yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We gonna cross paths with
Oh, most definitely. He gonna come to an Inspired show.
Exactly. You feel me?
He gonna come to it. If not, get on stage for a second.
That's right. And he gonna sign me to Dreamville
Listen.
as the first spoken word artist on Dreamville.
The first spoken word artist on that's big. That's big. I never even thought about till you just said something, I never thought about in the rap world them signing spoken word artists to a label.
I think the only one that comes to mind is the legendary Black Ice
Okay.
from
Yep.
Def Poetry.
Yep.
He signed with Def Jam and did an album with Def Jam.
Spoken word?
Yes, he did a spoken word album with Def Jam. I think it's called The Death of Willie Lynch. And
Dang, that's crazy.
and then due to creative differences, he was also, so he likes to say, I was the first artist to sign with Def Jam.
Yeah, right.
And I was also the first spoken word artist to leave Def Jam Records, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Now I'm gonna have to look the album up and check it out. Hopefully it's still
I think it is, yeah, I was about to say, and you know, if not, I think it's on like YouTube or something.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying? Like it's out here. It's out here.
I never thought about that though. That's that's on the goal? That's on
Yes,
the goal?
that is one of the many things I have in my vision journal on my, you know what I'm saying, on my goal list to check off.
What else is up there?
Man, let's see. All right, so I want to work with so like it's a whole bunch I want to do. So like
We got some time.
yeah. All right. So look, so like in addition to like doing like poetry, like I want to like work in like my advocacy work with poetry. So like I don't want to like have to like choose between doing like either or, like either
Right.
being like an advocate and being a traveling artist or whatever. Like I want to do like both.
Like an art therapist.
Exactly.
Where they mix their art in with therapy.
Exactly.
Okay.
So artivism, if you will. You know what I'm saying? If you will.
Is that new?
I don't know.
You might have coined
we gonna
something,
look
bro.
it up. Hey, look, we gonna look it up
Listen, you
after
got
this
the
get done.
timestamp,
Exactly.
so you know.
We gonna
got
look it
it.
up. So like what I really want to do is like work with like the Equal Justice Initiative.
Okay.
With like the Innocence Project and like all of these other organizations, and like kind of be like a resident poet or like a resident artist, and like work with them for like different events, like whether it's like a death penalty abolition event or like something where we're talking about like abolition or criminal justice reform,
Right.
Getting these trash laws and these sentencing type deals done away with, and like I really want to work with Brian Stevenson, who's like the founder of Just Mercy.
Okay.
With Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
that was based on like the book that he wrote.
Okay.
And man, like
I haven't watched that movie yet. I gotta
brother,
check that out.
Jamie Foxx had a tremendous performance too. Like, man,
Jamie's so talented though.
like man, like I was crying.
Wow.
Like during different parts of the movie, because like I have like another connection, because I had another connection to it by the time that I watched it, because Just Mercy is basically like telling the story of Brian Stevenson, and he's trying to get all of these innocent black men off of the death penalty, and not just black men, but of course like white folks and just any poor person that has been falsely convicted or accused of a crime that like they didn't commit. But the overwhelming majority were black folks, and like this is Alabama, and like this is like the 1980s that we're talking about, and he's coming down south, and like as we're going through the movie, it's like there's like all these like different cases and all these different people on like death row, and it like took me back to when I was in Atlanta last year, pre-COVID.
Right.
And I was there for a conference. I was presenting some research at the National Council for Black Studies conference for school. And I was like, okay, I only got to present one day. So I'm going to go like one day, and then I'm going to do poetry like my other, like every day that I'm here, because I'm in Atlanta. I'm not in Atlanta like often. At that time, I was like, I'm not in Atlanta often. So while I'm down here, I'm going to make my name for myself, like the road to death poetry. So, so like the Saturday comes, so it's like my last day there or whatever. So Saturday comes, and I don't go to the conference because, they ain't doing nothing. I didn't present it. And I'm downtown in Atlanta. Well, not downtown, but I'm by like the Coke Factory, by the Civil Rights Museum. Like I'm in that area. And like, mind you, this is like when COVID was about to before this was literally before everything shut down. So I'm going. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the Coke Factory. Coke Factory's like, yeah, we're closing early. COVID. I was like, okay, I'm not about to pay $30 to be in here for 20 minutes. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to like the College Football Hall of Fame. We closing early. COVID. Okay. I'm gonna go to the Civil Rights Museum.
Closing early.
Closed. No, they was just closed. They said COVID. We closed. Like we ain't even gonna give you the chance to come in and infect us. So I was like, dang, bro. So like I go over and talk to one of the street vendors out there. He's like selling hot dogs or something, and I'm talking to him. And then like I just start hearing like chanting and like protesting, and so I'm like looking around like, where are these voices coming from, bro? So I see this like group of people, like moving and like chanting, and I'm a social justice kind of brother, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just join it. I didn't even know what it was, but I just joined it. I just joined into the back. I'm like, no justice, no peace. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, they can't be all. I like they can't be too bad. You know what I'm saying? So I join in. We go around Olympic Centennial Park for a little bit, and then we end up back at the Omni Hotel. They was like outside, so like their quarters was like outside of the Omni Hotel. And like that's when I found out that it was a protest rally for Nate Woods. Nate Woods was executed by the state of Alabama last year for a crime that he did not commit. He was literally in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like I think it was like 3 police officers got killed as he was like walking out of the house.
I remember hearing about that.
And like the dude who killed the police officers is still alive on death row. He literally wrote letters on his behalf. Like he's like, I didn't even know that I was gonna kill these people that day. So how in the world would he have known? He had no idea. He had nothing to do with it. But the state of Alabama didn't give a damn, executed him, and it was his family members that were out there. So it was his mother, father, nieces, nephews, siblings. So I'm like, dang, like, bro, like that's wild. So we go back around. I start chopping it up with his nephew. And I was like, yo, so like when we get back to the spot before the protest ends, like, would you mind if I shared a poem? Because coincidentally, and I'm not even gonna say coincidentally, divine intervention.
Right.
I had just finished a poem about the death penalty before I got to Atlanta.
Wow.
I was like, I'm gonna be down here 3 days. So the 3 days I'm here, I'm gonna perform 3 different poems.
Right.
Well, 3 different new poems. One of the new poems that I was performing was that death penalty one. And right after I found out about, you know what I'm saying, them executing Nate Woods, I put a part in the poem, you know, I have a section dedicated to him in the poem.
Wow.
Never realizing I was going
about
to
to run
meet
into his family.
I'm about to run into, like literally run into his family. So we get back, he introduces me, you know what I'm saying, lets me, you know, do my thing. I say the piece, you know what I'm saying, they're like, oh wow, like, man, like, we appreciate that,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, we exchanged info and everything, and you know, like, cool. Like, I got like the last, cause they had a memorial service for him. So I got the last, program. I got the last program that they had, and then they had like the final poem that he had like written, like printed out, and you know what I'm saying, had passed those out too. So I was like, man, and after that happened, like, I don't know, I started getting a little emotional.
Right.
Cause I was like, bro, like, when like poets or like when artists do, you know, like work and like we insert a name like a Eric Garner or a Sandra Bland or a Breonna Taylor, it's like, I think that at times, like we get so invested in, you know, like the message and in like the art that like we forget that like these are like real people. Like these are people with like they're not just hashtags.
Right.
Like they're not just, you know, people that, you know, got killed. Like these are people that had, you know, families, that had loved ones, and like these are people that, you know, like left a legacy outside of being killed by the state.
Right.
And like it just like took me back, and I was like, man, like I didn't think that I was gonna be, you know what I'm saying, like bro, like I was just so like dumbfounded.
Cause it came out of nowhere.
Nowhere. And it's just like I was trying to do all these different things.
And everything was like, nope.
Everything
go
was
this
like,
way.
nah. And then I was like, man, let me go to the Civil Rights Museum. I was like, man, because up to that point, I had never been to the Civil Rights Museum.
I haven't
Went for the first time last weekend.
Okay.
I was in Atlanta last week. Went for the first time. I was like,
Word.
ooh, yeah. But yeah, I had never been, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just go here. Then after that, I was like, all right, what I'm gonna do?
Right.
And then boom,
That's what happened.
get thrust into, you know, like the civil rights, man. So I'm like, oh wow.
That's crazy. And I'm wondering, like, obviously you had a feeling about it, and I'm wondering how the family felt in that instance to have you be a part of what they were doing and you not know them or anything like that, but then for you to share that particular piece. Because as we know, man, like, not just poetry, but just words in general move people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And on a topic such as that, when you have somebody that comes in and then they've taken the time to put some words together that reflect how you feel or how you felt or something about the situation that you're going through, and something that really can't even change because the person is gone now.
Exactly.
Like I'm wondering how they really like internalize that within themselves. That's crazy.
Exactly, bro. And that's when I was like, all right, like, that was like the beginning of like when it like started to hit me, like, okay, like,
with poetry or with poetry?
Like with poetry, and then like just with like how lightly that, you know, like I take not only the art form, but like how lightly I was taking, you know what I'm saying, like my own words and like my own and like myself. Cause it's just like you can have a million people tell you like, man, like you dope, or like, man, like, you know what I'm saying, like your work is like brilliant, or like, man, like you're this, and this. Like you can have a million people tell you how brilliant you are, but like until the day you start to believe it yourself, like it's just falling on deaf ears.
Why weren't you believing it to that magnitude before?
Man, I mean, shoot. Honestly, I think it was a mix of like a lot of like personal insecurity, and a lot of like comparisons.
Okay.
Like I was falling into the trap of, you know, like constantly comparing like like my journey and myself to like these other people that I was seeing,
Right.
in like other positions that, you know, I was like, dang, like, why am I not, you know, here yet?
Why,
Like, why am I, so, you know, like, my work can't be that good if such and such, like, if it hasn't hit such and such, or if I don't have such and such and such and such, and like, that's the blessing and the curse of like social media and of validation.
Got you.
And I was like, cause like I hadn't felt the sense of validation, in the sense of like, I was like, the right people, whoever the right people
Right.
are, you know what I'm saying?
Because who are the right people? Because we you know, we tend to think the right people are the people who already have the status
Exactly.
that we can see.
Exactly.
Because what people don't realize a lot of times is there's people who have status out the butt, and you go on their page is private and they got 342 followers.
Listen,
I'm talking about editors of major magazines, major publications, corporations, different things of that nature. Like I go and I look and I be like, yeah, I get it.
listen, quick side note. I got commissioned to do a poem for an art gallery in Miami a couple months ago, because this lady that I followed back on TikTok, she don't got like 1 million followers, like she ain't no huge like influencer or nothing like that. But this lady I followed back on TikTok, she was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like I love your work, let's, you know, chop it up, let's try and see if we can, you know, get you to do something.
Right.
I was like, cool, and like just from being like receptive, like just from, you know, like, yeah, I got all these followers, you know, I don't need to talk to nobody, like, you know what I'm saying, like y'all are beneath me.
Right.
But like you never know like what kind of, you know, blessings that, you know, you're blocking if you're not at least taking that time to be like, of course you can't respond to everybody.
Right.
But, you know, if you're not, you know, doing your due diligence and, you know, just like treating people like, you know, like human beings, like,
That's
man,
it.
like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, and like that's something not only on my resume, but like that's a connection that, you know, like we have, and, you know, like she's real cool, real down to earth lady, man. Like her mama is like this like huge, like, man, she gonna kill me for never remember who her mama is, but like, bro, I'm gonna look it up afterwards.
Right.
Like man, like it's beautiful. But yeah, like the right people.
All right.
And I was just like to a point where I was like, man, like,
This is
am I on the right path? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like with poetry and like what I'm doing. Like, is this going to, you know, forget make a living? You know what I'm saying? Like forget, you know what I'm saying? Like that's out the window.
Right.
now. I'm not even thinking about, you know, like making
making money is a whole different
yeah,
thing.
exactly. But like, am I making, you know, the impact? Am I doing what I set out to do?
Right.
When, you know, I started writing?
There's always, I know, it's an old adage that says success always leaves clues. And so I always feel like there's breadcrumbs, or I've alluded to them as mile markers.
Man.
Because I have people ask me like, yo, like how do you measure what's going on with what you're doing? Like, is it measured in how many people come to the next event? I'm like, in a sense, sometimes.
Right.
But that's not the only thing. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different things that you can visibly take a look at and quantify and say, okay, all right, that's progress. That's progress. And sometimes it's just something that you feel. It's a conversation you have with somebody and they say, yo, this piece touched me in a certain way. Like I've been thinking about this, but I couldn't put it into words. That's progress. You know what I'm saying? That's that impact that you're talking about. And once you know you can have that impact with one person, then you can have it with 10.
Yeah.
You can have it with 100, 1,000, 1 million. And to your point, it's not even like those are the right people. Anybody that you impacting are the right people.
It took me forever to come to that conclusion. I mean, I'm glad I came to it now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like early on in my journey, well, early but later, I've been writing poetry for a while.
Okay.
But I ain't been like performing and traveling like
Right.
that long. So I'm glad that I finally came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
You know, now.
Because that would have been heavy. That's a big bag to carry for a long time, not feeling like you're living up to what it is you're actually trying to do, especially when it's not about the money per se.
Exactly.
Like the money is just an add-on.
Exactly.
If you're really trying to make an impact and you got this joint on your shoulder, you trying to carry like, yo, I don't know if I'm making an impact. That's heavy, yo.
Man, it's like when I when I pray, so I was watching TD Jakes one time.
Okay.
And he was talking to Stephen Furtick at Elevation.
Okay.
And he was like, I never wanted to be successful. I wanted to be impactful. And I was like, that hit me.
Right.
Because then I had to check myself, and I was like, so, like you always reevaluate. You know what I'm saying? Like,
got to.
Like with anything. And I hope you reevaluate whatever you're doing, whatever you are doing. I hope you reevaluate.
Right.
But like you always reevaluate whether it's like friendships, relationships, marriages. You know what I'm saying? Like your own like mental health. And when I started to reevaluate, I was like, okay, so like, am I getting too concerned with like these views and these likes and these shares and these comments, or like, are we actually, like, are you
building something?
Are you in the? You know what I'm saying? So like that's why when I started to like pray more and like get more in touch, with my spirituality a little more, I was like, yeah, like anything else is a fringe benefit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Lord, like if somebody would have paid me $6,000 to do a poem,
I'm gonna take it.
Who am I? You know what I'm saying?
Right, I'm gonna take it.
But
you gonna take it because you know that 6,000 ain't just 6,000 for you.
Exactly.
You gonna be able to use it.
I'm gonna give my 10% and then some. I'm gonna give my 10% and then some. And
Right.
and then it's also about trying to make opportunities for other people.
Right.
Which is what I'm working on. It's hard right now because I'm leveling up slowly. but like when
level up is almost always slow.
It's brother.
It's slow compared to how we process.
Exactly.
Slow.
Because I'm already
right
in 2030.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like when I do talk to God, man, I'm like it's always like a constant like it's hard to find balance sometimes. Like life is all about balance, and I want to be able to stay humble,
right,
but also know my worth.
Hard to be humble when you stunting on a jumbotron. My man Kanye ain't never spoken to you a word, right?
It is just like, man, I mean, I'm glad, like I got a little bit of a buzz, you know what I'm saying, like a little bit, but like there's still, like lives to, be impacted. Like there's still people that, like need to hear like particular messages.
Right.
And I can't get content. And for a little while, I was, just sitting on my laurels, and I was like, yeah, I've done this, I've done that, I think I'm all right. But then it was like, God was like, nah, son, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah.
That's how it is, man. With certain artists and people. I remember when Jasmine Mann's her first time in Raleigh.
My girl, Jasmine Mann. I love you, Jasmine Mann. If you see this, I bought your book. I'm reading it again. Black Girl Call Home. Y'all go get that.
Yeah, Jasmine is dope. I had a chance to work with her in other words, one of my other shows. Yeah. So it was dope. It was dope. But we met her a year prior, and I remember that's when I really I already respected her for her work. You know what I mean? But that's when I really had like a deeper level of appreciation for who she was, because she stopped kind of mid-set and just started talking to us. It was at Noir. She came in Noir, and she was just like, this was in 2018. And so she was like, yo, like, I don't feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. She was like, but yeah, Jasmine Mann, she was saying that she wasn't doing what she felt she should be doing as an artist, that she felt like she was content and that she was coasting off of all the early success that she had, that she wasn't creating anymore. And she was like, yo, I want to get to a point where I'm creating again. Like, I feel like I got more inside of me. And at that point, she had already blown up.
See?
And so then from there, I worked with her in a little over a year later, so almost a year and a half later, when I finally was able to work with her, And shout out to Crystal, because Crystal the one got a book.
Hey, look.
So that was a dope experience to be able to meet her, have her in my house, you know what I'm saying? Like, I done made Jasmine Mans a smoothie, bro.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro. I'm so jealous.
But then to now watch what she's doing and blowing up on a whole nother level. Like, she went from here to here.
Bro, it's like Michael Jackson off the wall.
Right.
And then off the wall to Thriller. I'm like, oh.
That's what she's doing right now, and it's crazy to watch as a fellow artist. It's crazy to watch the heights that she's going to. One minute you turn around and Chelsea Handler is promoting her book, then you turn around and now she's in Oprah magazine, then you turn around and it's just like, man, like the only limits is the limits that we put on ourselves. That's it. That's it. And these words that we have inside of us can go so far, bro. I've always kind of felt that way in a sense, but at the same time, it's one thing to feel that way. Then it's another thing to see somebody do it. Then it's another thing to actually do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Yeah.
Boy.
So I feel you when you say that. I know you mentioned a couple of times about like social media and the likes and this and that. Has social media ever become overwhelming to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, when was it? It was around like towards the end of last year.
Okay.
I started using TikTok, and I was like, because a couple people was like, "Hey, bro, you should get on TikTok." And I was like, "You talking about where they be
dancing?" Right?
I was like, "What good am I on TikTok? I don't dance." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in a frame. Like I step and stroll, but that's in certain spaces, and I'm getting a little old now, so I'm not even doing that much.
Right.
But they was like, "Nah, bro, like you should get on." I was like, all right.
Right.
And then I listened to a podcast, the Poet Life Podcast. Shout out to Poet Life Podcast. Y'all should listen to that.
I need to check it out.
Yeah, man. And there's a poet named I Speak 1906. I think Anthony Highland. I think his last name is Highland.
Okay.
But first name is definitely Anthony.
Right.
And he was talking about like going on TikTok as a poet, and he was like basically like, you disrupt what's going on, so like you're out of the norm.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even if like your first, couple ones don't jump off, like TikTok, the way the algorithm is designed, like, like anybody can go like viral at any given moment, like regardless of how many followers you have. He was like, like just go on there and do it. And then I didn't do it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
of course
after
not.
like, after I listened, I was like, yeah, he right.
Right.
But I didn't do it. But then one of my homeboys, he came by the crib to chop it up with me for a little bit, and he was like, bro, like, I've seen it happen. Like, you can do it.
Yep.
And like he went viral on TikTok. Like he be going viral like it ain't nothing. So I was like, all right, bro, whatever. I'll do it.
Right.
So the first couple videos ain't really do a lot. Then I did a video about the creation of DAP.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't know that dapping
teach me.
All right. So look, DAP first it's an acronym. DAP stands for dignity and pride, and it was created during the Vietnam War by black soldiers, because what was happening is during Vietnam, like black soldiers were being drafted like disproportionately, like way more black soldiers were being drafted than white soldiers, way more black soldiers were being sent to the front lines than white soldiers, and then like there was like racism like all within like the ranks and all within the military.
Right.
There was cases of white soldiers killing black soldiers, like friendly fire, like out in the field. They was like, oh man, I'm sorry I killed you. What's an apology? You know what I'm saying? I'm dead. And then the day after MLK got assassinated, there were white soldiers like flying Confederate flags like at their little base camps or whatnot, because they stayed in like different like tents and such.
Okay.
And like even those were segregated. So what the black soldiers ended up doing was creating like their own like form of communication, which was like dapping, and it was like super like intricate, like you could tell like somebody, like where somebody's unit was based on like what type of dap they were doing. And like they're dapping up to like talk about like how many enemies, you know, is somewhere, you know what I'm saying, like different information about like supply drops or, you know, like all kinds of other stuff. And it ended up getting banned from the military because they thought it was like, oh, so these black people are coming up with like a way to overthrow the military. But then the military ended up bringing it back because they started using this thing called DAP therapy, because when black soldiers who were suffering from PTSD from, you know, Vietnam, like they didn't trust the white doctors. And, you know, we can have a whole nother podcast episode about that. But they weren't trusting any of the black, the white military doctors or anybody like that. So what they started to do is they started to bring, the military started to bring in like other black veterans who, you know, like knew how to dap and all that. So like they were creating, you know what I'm saying, like that bond, that rapport. And they was like, oh yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, this is going to help in the long run. So did a video about that. And like that like exploded like on TikTok. Like it was like wild. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect this. And then a couple months later, I did a video about Miriam Carey, who was killed in DC a couple years ago by Capitol Police and I think the FBI and Secret Service because she had like rammed into like a barricade. But like she was suffering from postpartum depression with psychosis. And like she was having like all of these like kinds of like delusions. She had her baby daughter, I believe, in the back seat of the car, and like she was like real freaked out because she had like made a U-turn at the White House or the Capitol, wherever it was, I forgot. And like she had tried to drive away, and like they just started like filling the car up with bullets, killed her, no regard for the baby in the back seat. And I had dropped that video right after that stuff at the Capitol that happened on January 6th, where, you know, all the Trump supporters, you know what I'm saying, storming the Capitol. So I did that video about her, and Lizzo reshared it on her Instagram story. And I was like, one, I don't even follow Lizzo, so I had no idea that she had reshared it until somebody had commented on my video and was like, yeah, I was about to, you know what I'm saying, comment on it until I realized it was on Lizzo's story. And I was like, what?
Wow.
So like the notifications were getting crazy, you know what I'm saying, all this, all that, all this, all that. And then I did another video, Set the Strange Fruit, the Nina Simone version. And I was making comparisons between the lynchings of the 19th and 20th centuries to the police killings that, you know, we've seen in the 20th and 21st century. And, you know, I had an original poem that I was spitting on top of Nina singing, and then I had like the pictures and the videos. I had to do a trigger warning because, you know what I'm saying, like it get hard to watch. And like with all those like videos, like they took off and did like, you know, crazy numbers. And like I had to step back because like I was getting too like sucked into it and getting too sucked into the comments, because it's like you'll have your people that are, you know, of course, like supporting, like, hey man, like, yo, this is dope. Like,
then you got people that
powerful.
don't like that.
And then you, boy, and it's just like it gets draining. So like now I have to I turn my notifications off for like Instagram, TikTok, like all that. The only reason I still have Twitter notifications on is because there's certain accounts and profiles that, you know, I subscribe to get like certain kinds of like news and like information. That's the only reason I have my Twitter notifications on. But outside of that, man, like it gets to a point where like you just gotta like step back and be like, all right, bro, like, what was you doing? Like, get back to what you was doing before you knew that you could get this kind of, you know, like before you knew, like, you could go viral. Because that's not why I started writing poetry. I didn't start writing poetry to, like, go viral.
It's crazy because I had conversations with people who said that social media has been overwhelming for them, and I've never experienced that before. Maybe because I ain't never went viral.
Hey, it's coming. Hey, look, it's coming. You wait till the next Inspire go. You wait on it.
But yeah, I've never. I don't know. And how old are you?
I just turned 24.
So we got a huge age gap, which I already knew we had one. But I'm 38.
You don't look 38.
I appreciate it.
I'm going to tell you that. I thought you was at least oldest, like 32.
That's what a lot of people say. I try to stay de-stressed, and I don't typically stress a lot, so I think that helps.
Right.
And I've been active my whole life. But anyway, I remember before social media was even here. You know what I'm saying? So, I grew up playing Oregon Trail and Number Munchers.
Hey, look, I feel you. I'm in that sweet spot of like just before everything started.
Right.
Like I was still young, but
Right.
I was old enough to like remember like dial up, and you know what I'm saying, and to like remember when like, cause like I got an older brother, so I remember when like Black Planet started, you know what I'm saying, getting big, and like
MySpace, all that.
You know what I'm saying?
Before Black Planet was College Club.
College Club. See, look.
College Club. So that was my first, I guess, social media was College Club, then Black Planet. But I remember before all of that, and then I remember when Black Planet came, it was just, you dress your page up and put music on it. Like that's all you really cared about, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, all these likes and this and that and the other. So when it did kind of hit, like I wasn't even on Facebook at first. Even though I was in college, I was like I don't care about that. I got my AOL message. I just need to talk to people. You know what I mean? I'm good. But then when I finally got on Facebook, and then once I got on for a little bit and I saw people posting poetry and stuff, I'm like, I can post some poetry. I started doing that, and so then I started getting the likes and the comments and stuff. But it never like overwhelmed me or made me feel like I was fiending or whatever. Now I ain't ignorant because I do know that if we're getting online and I'm spending an hour on Instagram, there's a reason why I want to have my phone in my hand and be on Instagram for an hour. But I just try to be intentional about what I'm doing, not just looking at ass all day. That's
facts, brother.
10%, a little bit of ass. But I try to make sure that I am watching and curating my page
exactly
decently enough where it's stuff that is gonna be impactful to me, so that I can then be impactful to other people. But it's always interesting when I talk to people and they explain kind of their evolution with social media and how that kind of overtook them at times, or how now they understand like how to move within social media and things of that nature.
And I think it kind of went back to that need to like kind of be validated, or like not even the need, but like the thing that we come up with in our minds that is like, like I need to be validated by these people that I really could care less about. If you follow me, I do actually love you. But you know what I'm saying? Just like in the grand scheme of things, like outside of like your family and like your friends.
Right.
It's just like, I was just like, man, like I just need people to like just see, like I need people to see how hard I've been working. Or I need people to like appreciate it the way I appreciate it. And it finally hit me like, nobody's going to appreciate your stuff like you appreciate your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like how some people aren't going to, appreciate, like a movie or a song the way that you appreciate it because, it's not for them.
Right.
And it's like, I think the quicker that, like we start to realize that, and it's a constant reminder, for me that, everything isn't for everybody. It's like, you got to remember, like, everybody has like their niche.
Yeah.
And like everybody, like there's only a few people that, just everybody's like,
Right.
Like there's only one Michael Jackson.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's only like one Beyonce.
And there's some people don't like them.
Exactly. So I'm like, bro, like you got to think about it. Like whether you like country music or not, country music stars are making buku amounts of bread.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like whether you watch soccer or not,
it's the number one sport in the world.
It's the number one sport in the world.
The world.
So it's just like, the quicker that you get comfortable with, you know what I'm saying, like who you are and what you do,
right,
and you just disregard like who's not, like whoever's gonna be down is gonna be down.
Yep.
Because I've already experienced it. It's people that was not down for what I was doing when I started, and as I started to build, but then now that they see, oh, you know what I'm saying, oh, Nick that hit the LA Times, Nick that, you know what I'm saying, Vice News, you know what I'm saying, like, I could care less about the LA Times and Vice News.
Right.
It's dope that you know
right.
I made it. But I could care less about that.
Yeah.
But because people are so, you know, like attached to like these like accomplishments, and I won't try to cap and say like I'm not, you know what I'm saying, like I don't like
Right.
feeling recognized, but because like people are so attached to these like superficial kind of things, it's like they don't deem you to be like worthy or you know, like worth their time or like worth their effort if, you know, they can't say like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, I know Nick, I know SP, you know what I'm saying, SP do that Inspired event
Right.
that you know, J. Cole and Kendrick just, you know, dropped their joint project that, you know what I'm saying, I know, yeah, you know what I'm saying, we went to you know, 3rd grade together. You don't know him, man. You don't know him like that, bruh.
The clout chasing.
You know, in essence, that's exactly what it is. And it's just like once you get comfortable with just like knowing like the ones that are like for you are like for you, and like the ones that are for you will like they don't even have to make themselves be known. You'll just know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like once you know who's supporting you, and like everybody else is just like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate you.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like you here today, going tomorrow.
It's crazy because I know me and Crystal had this conversation sometimes. I don't really pay attention to clout chasers, haters. Like it's like I don't even for real. I may know 1 or 2 people that hate on me. You know what I mean? Like, but I normally don't even hear those conversations.
Facts.
I normally don't even, because that don't fuel me anyway.
Facts.
Like even the ones that I know, like it doesn't fuel me to know that you hate on me. I know for some people it do. They're like, yo, yeah, I'm gonna crush this because all the people that hated on me.
Let your haters be your motivators,
right.
you know.
And you know, to each their own. But that don't. It's more of a motivation for me when I know that like I wrote a poem for this guy, and I had forgot all about the joint. But his wife had died. This has been years ago. This has been well before he inspired all this stuff. I was just posting stuff on Facebook. He hit me up. He was like, "Hey man, my wife died a few months back, and our son is kind of young. He's like 6, 7 years old. I wonder, could you just write a poem? Because I don't really know what to say to him." And so, you know what I'm saying? All right, cool. Wrote a poem or whatever. Sent it to him. He's like, "Yo, thank you so much." Da da da. Man, he hit me up. I want to say it was last year on my birthday. You know, Facebook tell everybody it's your birthday. And he was like, "Yo, man, happy birthday to you." Da da da. He was like, "Yo, I'll never forget, you know, you writing that poem." He's like, "Yo, my son still got that poem to this day."
Wow.
And, you know, we living our life. We ain't even think about it no more.
That's so true.
But that's big to him. That's big to his son because that's a catastrophic moment in his life. So that's the stuff that fuels me. I could, you know what I mean? I don't care about that. Like, you know, 1%, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you gonna see me. But outside of that, I don't even be caring, bro.
I feel that. And it took me a minute. It took me a minute to get there too, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Long as you there though. Cause like I be like, yo, people clout chasing me sometimes, and I ain't even got no clout. I can't get you at the front of no line.
That's what I be telling people.
I can't get you in for free. I actually don't even run this event. I'm just recording. You know, so like some people actually only know me as the videographer.
That's crazy.
And I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Eventually, I'm gonna talk to you about, you know, everything else I'm doing. But
the Who Do You Think You Are podcast is sponsored by Good Trip Inc. It's a super dope gallery with a super dope artist that owns it. Black owned, 416 South McDowell Street, downtown Raleigh. Y'all come through, check him out. Tell him that SP the Writer sent you.
Owner of Good Trip Tattoo and Art. My passion is creating art, and there's no better feeling than seeing a happy client.
That's wild.
it's closed. Everybody been trying to get in here all day.
I believe it.
I want to buy black. But I ain't got no clout. You know what I'm saying? At all. And I don't clout chase.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like every now and then, yeah, you gonna name drop some stuff. because it made sense. Like, yeah, I work with Jasmine Man.
Yeah, but look, when you like the first time you told me about that, bro, like it was natural.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you had no other choice but to name drop.
We wasn't talking about Skittles, and I was like, yo, by the way, because of the rainbow, you know, I work with Jasmine. Like, nah, it wasn't that. And so when it makes sense to, then I do. Like, I've been, and I think too, because of me hooping growing up, I was around a lot of NBA players because of some of the people that I knew that were older than me. That, like my man's Daniel, him and Stathouse, they grew up like that.
Oh man.
Because Kinston and where I grew up at, Jones County, is like right there. So they were super tight and still are to this day. So I done met ball players from NBA to NFL players, all that at a young age. And so it was just like, oh, it's
just a regular thing.
Yeah.
Regular day.
And so, you know, as I got older and now I'm going to these certain events and stuff like that, and I see famous people or people who, I'm like, I ain't got to take no picture. And ain't nothing wrong with taking a picture if I do. And sometimes I do, but that don't mean I always got to post it either.
That's very
I done
true.
met plenty of people that, if I wanted to use it for clout.
If I had to, I got it in the clip.
Right.
I got it in the clip.
But it ain't. If you did that, there's a purpose to it to then shine a light on something else that you can be impactful for. Not just, oh, I met such and such, or I was chilling with such and such. Because half the time, all you did was get a pic.
Yeah. hey, look, and people be trying to over exaggerate,
they chill with him all day.
I'm like, man, you seen him in passing, bro? What you mean?
Right. I've heard Eric Thomas talk about that before. Dude took a pic with him, and then dude put the pic up and was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? E.T. was co-signing my course and doing all this other stuff. He was like, he hit him like, bro, I ain't say none of that, bro. I seen you in the airport. You was like, yo, man, I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying, for what you do. Can I get a pic? We got a pic, and that was that, bro. Yo, but people be on a whole, and it's crazy, man. I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out the whole social media thing as pertains to that, because I don't think it created a monster, but it fed a monster.
Boy, didn't it?
It fed a monster. I'm glad you good though.
Look, hey, look, bro. I'm telling you. Look, I'm telling you. Personal development. You know, having good people around you that can, you know, like check you on your bullshit.
That's important.
And then like just people that will, you know, be able to like see past the accomplishments, or like see past, you know, like people that like genuinely want to know how you're doing.
But it ain't a lot of them though.
No.
Because most people, if they're around you and you coming up, you doing well, or maybe you all the way up, they don't want to lose their spot.
Man.
So why they gonna tell you, hey, bro, I don't really know if that one went over too well, bro.
Exactly.
Why they gonna do that when they can just,
Coach, yes, man, they way on to the top.
And they know you love them, you care about them. Maybe they love and care about you too, but they don't wanna get pushed out of that spot.
I'm telling.
And it's so many people like that, man. And I tell people, like, you gotta watch who you got in your circle. And your circle can be as small or as big as you want.
That's
to
what
be.
I be. Yo.
It ain't gotta be. I remember when Drake came out with No New Friends. I won't sing in that song. Nah, I'm down with New Friends. Listen, if you legit, if you really trying to do something, if you really care about people to a certain extent, to not damage yourself, but really care about people, yeah, like let's connect.
I'm saying, bro. And I think that people get it twisted, thinking that, you know, like quality will you know, like take place of quantity in every case. Cause like people talk about, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying, my circle ain't big. You know what I'm saying, I don't got a big circle. You know what I'm saying, I only got da-da-da-da-da. But I'm like, what good is it for you to have a small circle and your small circle is still a bunch of snakes and haters, bro? Like,
you got 4 Judases.
Bro, I got a line like that in the poem, bro. I'm like, yo.
You got 4 Judases and you, my circle small. Yep, and they definitely gonna kill you because you ain't got nobody else to look out for.
I'm saying, bro. Like, bro, it's so aggravating. Like, it's so aggravating. I'm like, bro, having a small, saying you have a circle of any size, whatever.
Right.
It's never the flex that we think it is.
It's not.
But I mean,
because nobody really don't care. Nobody goes around and they tried to make us. They tried to make it care. Remember when they was doing the T-Mobile top 5?
Yes, bro.
Even back to MySpace, you had your top 5,
yes,
all
bro.
that stuff. So they tried, but over time it didn't pan out because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how small your friends is. It doesn't matter how big your circle is. It matters who those people are in your circle.
The quality of those people,
and do they got you, and do you have them?
The quality of those people.
That's all that matters.
Only the real gonna last, man. And look, I speak from this is my testimony, brother. I mean, like, I don't hold grudges or none or
I do.
Nothing. look, I don't hold grudges. Look, I remember.
Okay.
I remember everything. I remember everything, but I don't hold grudges.
Right.
But there are people that I never envisioned not being in my life.
And they gone. Been gone.
Man.
I said what I write. I said you never know who your lifelong friends are until you're dead.
Man.
And I know one. My homeboy Willie, and that's only because I told him, I said, bro, if we ever not friends, I'm gonna fight you, bro. Every single time I see you, I'm gonna fight you until we friends again. So you choose. So he ain't got no choice.
That's real though.
He ain't got no choice. But yo, like, you don't know who gonna be there, man. I could probably think of 10 people that I thought for the rest of my life, we friends forever.
Dog.
And they gone. I ain't talked to them, ain't heard from them in years. Couldn't talk to them if I wanted to.
Dog. Gone and ain't buried.
Gone and ain't buried. That's a book, that's a poem, that's a memoir, that's a documentary.
Hey, look, when you hear that City Soul, you heard it here first.
Right.
Y'all heard it here first.
Right.
Y'all heard it here first.
Yeah, that's definitely a word, man. I don't know, man. Figuring out this whole life thing it's a trip, though.
I hate it, but I love it. You know what I'm saying? Hate it or love it. You know what I'm saying? The underdog is on top, though.
Right. You said earlier, man, you was talking about, and it kind of talking about life. Like you said, when you talk to God, how often do you talk to God?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Some days longer than others.
Right.
But every day, bruh. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, there were a couple of periods of time where, I wasn't really, on it. Because, whether you grew up in church or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't like one of the church kids, okay. You know what I'm saying, in there every, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays too, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't one of those kids, but like my mama made sure that, you know what I'm saying, like we was gonna be in church.
Right.
So, like the foundation was already set. But then, you get a little older, you know what I'm saying? You start to do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? You start what the old folks say, you start smelling yourself a little bit. You start smelling yourself a little bit. And you know what I'm saying, you get that feeling of, the invincibility of youth and whatnot. So it's just like, even though I've been told I have an old soul, you know what I'm saying, like I still realize that, I'm young.
Right.
And that, I still make mistakes that, a young person does make.
Yeah.
And, like among those mistakes is, like not consulting with God all the time, or, like not even like having him in mind, at times, and just moving how I want to move. I'm not gonna lie and say I still don't move how I want to move.
Right, we all do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
We all do.
That's a part of human nature.
Right.
But I mean, there came a time when like I just got so like everything, like I think everything hit a wall with with COVID. Because when COVID came and like stuff had to stop,
Right.
like that's when like I couldn't hide from like myself anymore. You know, and you know, like having to quarantine and like be in the house because you know I'm always busy. Like you ask anybody that know, like I'm always doing something.
Right.
I'm always at like undergrad. I was always, you know what I'm saying, at running some event, planning some event, performing at some event, speaking at some event. You know what I'm saying? I was always somewhere.
Right.
But then when COVID came,
All that stuff.
and you know I couldn't go to City Soul. You know what I'm saying? I can't host no open mics on campus. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't go to any meetings or, you know, like do anything, like just get out, like just be elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like I had to just like really sit and be with like my emotions and with like everything that, you know, I was running from. Like I had my first anxiety attack. Thought I
During COVID?
legit thought I was gonna die. Yes. Legit. Like I was home alone. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and like I just started feeling like my heart like just beat like no exaggeration. I swear my heart was about to like beat out of my chest, and I thought I was going to die. I got lightheaded. Like it was this sensation of like, yo, like this is not life. Like I'm about to like elevate. You know what I'm saying? Or not elevate.
Right.
And I'm not trying to not elevate. You know what I'm saying? So and then like after that I had, you know what I'm saying, like 3 or 4 other ones after that. And, you know, it wasn't until, you know, I had a couple friends be like, yo, bro, like start to meditate, like start like, bro, like slow down, just like chill, just like you're always doing something, just like be still.
Right.
And then, you know, like I think, you know, that was also God saying like, bro, like be still.
Right.
And, you know, at that time, that's when I was slowly but surely starting, you know, to get back into, you know, like read my Bible a little more, you know, praying, praying more. And, you know, it's always a, you know, balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it was rough. It was rough. And, you know what I'm saying? Some days, you know, it's still, you know, rough. You know, like having anxiety and like functioning like highly with anxiety and, you know, like being an empath too.
Right.
Cause man, I take on other people's emotions like it ain't nobody's business, man. Like it gets
I'm glad I don't have that gift.
and it gets real like it gets real overwhelming. And for a while, I didn't think it was a gift. Like I was like, bro, like this shit sucks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Right.
bro, like I don't want to have to like feel and like take on like everybody else's energy.
Yeah.
But then after a while, like I'm starting to learn that, you know what I'm saying, like it is a gift.
Yep.
And it's just like I just have to be more mindful of, you know, like the spaces I'm in, and then, you know, like how I interact with people.
Right.
Cause like, bruh, like when I get to the house, like I shut up, like I'm really bad. If I haven't texted you back by the time you're seeing this, and you texted me like 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry.
Right.
But like, cause like I just give like so much like energy like outwards that like when I get to the house, like I just wanna like be like to like recharge.
Right. It's crazy. I've never had an anxiety attack before, but I've been around a friend of mine. The first time was on the phone. She was having one, and this was years ago. And at the time, I was so broke. I literally had no gas in my car. I was in Durham, and I couldn't get to her. I ain't had. This is before Uber. I ain't had nobody to take me nowhere.
No.
My girlfriend I was living with at the time, she wasn't home. Like I had no way to get to her, and she's on the phone like, "Yo, I am about to die. I can hit. My heart is coming out of my chest. Like, is that what you were explaining?" And I'm just like, "Yo," and so I'm like, first of all, I didn't understand. I'm like, I don't even understand what's going on. Like, so then maybe 2 years ago, she was at my house. She was in town, staying there, and let her sleep on my bed, and I'm on the couch. I got a nice size room or whatever, so I'm sleeping on my couch. And literally in the middle of the night, she wakes up and she's having an anxiety attack.
Oh man, you seen that happen live.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to calm her down, and I'm just like, yo, like, in my mind, I'm like, yo, what in the world is what's going on? And so I still have never really understood it. But what you were saying about becoming like, being so busy and that becoming overwhelming, I am getting to that point now. I realized like I've been going for a little over 3 years. Cause since we started, I met Crystal in March of 18. And since then, we haven't stopped.
Man.
And so now, finally, and I was talking with Amani yesterday, and I was like, yo, like I've never felt how I feel right now. Like I'm tired.
Yes.
Like
yes.
It ain't even like, oh, I need to take a nap or I need to go to sleep. Like
no,
I'm tired.
That's exhaustion, brother. Yes.
And not just for that, but then all the personal stuff that's happened in life. COVID didn't really. COVID in the sense of being isolated didn't bother me because I was, before Inspired, I was always isolated.
Right.
I only came out of the house to go hoop and go to the movies. So I was a homebody anyway. And during COVID, all I did was learn how to edit. So I was like, oh, I'm cool. I can sit back and chill.
I told you that. Hey, look, the Rona Renaissance. I doubt you've heard that yet. Artivism was the other one. I doubt you've heard the Rona Renaissance.
The Rona Renaissance.
I'm telling y'all, these next couple years about to be crazy.
All right.
Because we was in the lab.
In the lab. But I've never felt this heavy, and then I'm looking at like things that have happened. It ain't even stuff that's really happened to me per se. Some of it is, but not most of it. Most of it is stuff that's happened to people around me.
Yes.
That I care about in the last 2 years. And I'm not an empath either, but I'm also not a psychopath. At least I don't think I am. I've had somebody call me one, but I'm not a psychopath either. So when something happens to somebody that I love and that I care about, and on top of that, I don't even understand what's going on, and in most cases can't even do anything about it.
Exactly.
Then you couple that with the grind
Yes.
and trying to be successful and money and blah, blah, and then it just piles on. And so now I'm like, man, like when you're talking, and you're saying how, you know, you had the anxiety attack. I haven't gotten to that point, but I'm like, am I in the precursor stage of that?
Hey, listen. Okay, so like, my question to you is, so like, even though, like, you started to feel this tiredness, and like this like you feel like you getting there.
Right.
Like, what is it that keeps you going?
Cause my goal don't change. My goal don't change. I know what my goals are.
Right.
And that don't change. Like I was just having this conversation with somebody, like, cause they called me and asked me. They was like, yo, like, I'm like, my goal don't change. It don't matter what happened. You know what I mean? God forbid, you know, somebody close to me died, you know, my leg get chopped off,
right.
You know, like I get hit by a bus, but I'm still alive. Like, it don't matter. My goals don't change. So for me, because I know I want to make an impact, you know, I know how many people I want to impact November 20th. I know how many people I want to impact by the following November.
Right.
I know how many people I want to impact 10 years from now. And so because that doesn't change, then for me, it's like, yo, I got to do what I got to do.
Got to keep going.
Now, I am realizing, yo, I need to take a break.
Yeah.
I got to take a break.
Yeah. It's hard.
I'm even contemplating moving right now. Like, not right at this second, but if I'm still feeling this same way I'm feeling right now in a year, I'm out of here.
Bro, and look, I think that the more that you grow, and like the more in tune you come, become with like where you're trying to go and what you're trying to do, like the more like things will like start to like push you out. And like, because, example, when I left Pembroke, because I did my undergrad at UNC Pembroke.
Okay.
In Pembroke, North Carolina.
Yep.
I know you might not know.
Small town. You know I know about it because I'm a hooper. You know what I mean?
So I did my undergrad there, and then I did a year of grad school there. But through like my first semester of grad school, I was like, bro, like I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just something that I was like, bro, like I can't be here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I talked to some other people, and they was like, bro, like, I don't know why you like went back in the first place. And I think that, you know, it was that like sense of like comfortability.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, like when you start to get comfortable, you know, like comfortability breeds complacency. And, you know, I have an older brother and my sister-in-law, you know what I'm saying, in Pembroke.
Okay.
Cause like he works for the school, but, you know what I'm saying? Like he was never like overbearing or like domineering or nothing like that.
Right.
And, you know, like he never tried to like legitimately like lil bro me like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But he was always there for support. But I think that, you know what I'm saying, like the mix of everything else that was going on like within the town itself, because there's some stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, you know, like with my personal goals and then career goals, and then my, you know, like academic goals, like all of those were not, you know, all of those said, like, no, Pembroke is not the place to be. So I was like, bro, like, I gotta go.
Right.
So, you know, I transferred. I'm in Central now.
Okay.
Shout out HBCUs, Eagle
HBCU.
Pride Amplified. You feel me? And you know, like, I'm in a different space. Moved by myself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm still relatively close to my mom. Like,
Right.
she lives in Greensboro. I'm in Mebane.
Okay.
But you know, like it's the first time me being like by myself. And it's just like just moving just gives you like this whole like new sense of like clarity. And like you just like you're like, yeah. And then about a day, a week, maybe even a month, you know, into like the move, you're like, yeah, I needed to, you know what I'm saying, like
Right.
get out.
I've never moved outside of from Maysville to when I came up this way for college, and I've been in Raleigh since '05, and up until a couple weeks ago, for real, I was like, yo, I'm good in Raleigh for forever. Like I don't want to go nowhere. Like I ain't had the urge to go nowhere. Now I almost moved to Chicago once, which is where I probably will move to if I do move. That's like my second home. I love Chicago. I go there all the time.
Shot town.
Yeah, man, the
Watch
food
out.
is phenomenal.
I gotta go, man. I gotta go.
But I never thought that I would feel like I needed to leave. And so I'm like, maybe it's because I'm just feeling that weight right now. That's why I'm like, let me
I'm about
not.
to say, give it some time.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a year. I'm gonna see how I'm feeling in a year. And if I'm still feeling like this, I'm out of here. Because that's one thing I know. If I don't know nothing else, I know me. And I know when I'm not completely in the space I need to be in, whether it be mentally, emotionally, whatever, physically, and I don't prolong stuff a lot of times that doesn't need to be, especially when it comes to my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm a control, I grew up on purpose. That's what I tell
Come
people.
on now.
I ain't grow up because humans grow up. I grew up on purpose. You know what I mean? So
That's good.
I gotta make sure I'm straight. But I also am very understanding of, you know, the mental and emotional collapses that people go through and that they have, because I've seen them happen around me, and then we hear the stories. And so I'm always like trying to keep tabs on myself, like, yo, you straight? Like, yeah, I'm straight. All right, cool.
That's good. Look. Them check-ins is important.
Yeah.
Them check-ins is important.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a long time since I was young. I've always kind of checked in with who I was, where I was, and how I was.
I never did that. I like recently, like the last like year and a half, 2 years, I just started doing that. Because I've always been so concerned with like how other people are doing that you know what I'm saying.
How
like,
so because of that, how were you as a kid? Like how were you as a kid? How were the people around you as a kid? Like was it like, did you have the teachers that gave a lot of affirmation? Did you have the teachers that didn't care? Did you have the teachers that were like kind of putting you down? Like how was the family dynamic?
So like, man, it's wild because like it was a sliding scale of like all those things, right? So like, came up in a single parent house, but like my dad had he passed when I was 2, so I was really raised by, you know what I'm saying, like you know, like it takes a village to raise a child. Like
That's
I
how
was
it
raised
is.
by a village, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like the people in my neighborhood. Certain people in my neighborhood, but you know what I'm saying? But like the people in my neighborhood.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like my mom and like my brother, you know what I'm saying? Like hell of a job. Like hell of a job. Like especially for like my brother, we're like 8.5 years apart. So like even when I was like coming up, like he was still, you know, like coming back to check in on me and like doing all those things, even when he was going to college
Right.
and whatnot and doing everything that he's doing. Like he was still like doing this thing. Then my mom working multiple jobs, you know, like she's checking in like as best as she can and like doing everything in her power. But at the end of the day, she has to put food on the table. She has to put, you know what I'm saying, clothes on. But she has to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, there's a roof over the head
Right.
and we gonna be straight. So you know what I'm saying, like there was only so much that she could do. And she did everything.
Right.
And even doing everything, it's still, you know, like not enough.
Right.
Sometimes. So it's like I spent a lot of time with, you know, like some other folks in the neighborhood that like became like brothers, and you know, like brothers and sisters. So like I always with them, I was like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they would take me in, I would, you know what I'm saying, bring them to the crib. It'd be cool. We get to school. Like my whole public school, I was always going to school at a predominantly white schools.
Okay.
Where I was, you know, like one of like 8 black kids that would be there. I was always, but like my mom, like always instilled, you know, like in me and my brother, or like my parents instilled into us, you know, just like being confident in like yourself.
Right.
And you know, like being confident in like your people and like being black and like knowing how to navigate in these spaces, you know what I'm saying, like where you're black. So like I had some teachers that, you know, were good with the affirmations and, you know what I'm saying, all that. But some. I'm
Not
all.
Not all.
And I had other teachers that were, you know, not that good. You know, I'm not gonna go in on them, but you know what I'm saying. I had others that were not that good.
Right.
So like early on, it was just always about like, okay, so like how can I like tailor like myself to, you know what I'm saying, like be, you know, like kind
To
of
the
like
situation.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So like early on, I learned how to adapt.
Right.
No matter where I was at. Like, and growing up in a black neighborhood and then going to a white school.
2 totally different things.
2 totally different things. And like, I was adapting, but I was still like being, like it was weird. Like, like I would go to school and, you know what I'm saying, like I would, you know, like talk white, like they say.
Right.
But then like I would still have like the slang. I would still make references to like black things.
Right.
And like, they're like, bro, like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And then I'm in the hood with the homies, you know what I'm saying? Like, we hooping or we playing football or like we just chilling. And then like I start talking about something that's, you know, like education based, you know what I'm saying? Something history based.
And they
like,
looking at you crazy.
Like, bro, like.
So you was just stuck in between.
Bro, you feel me? So like it was just always, so I've always been in this position where even though, you know, I'm comfortable with like just like being like who I am,
Right.
And you know, just like embracing like what makes me different. Like sometimes like embracing what makes you different is not, you know, as easy as people like make it out to be. And it's just like, again, goes back into, you know, everything is connected. You know, like with you know, like when I started getting into poetry and, you know what I'm saying, doing spoken word, just like validation, I was like, dang, so like originally I was just writing, you know, for what I wanted to hear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like just for me, for my own catharsis. But now I'm like, well, shoot, like, I mean, they said they like this. Like, well, they like this? Well, they like this? Well, they like this? And then, you know, it's just like this, like a rabbit hole of like, just like damn, bro, like, what's going on?
And that's a slippery slope.
Man, slip, fell, but look, cracked my head, brother. Oh my God. But like now I'm starting to, you know, like undo all those like years of, you know, like feeling like that.
Right.
And of like having to feel like I have to be like this, or I have to be like this, or I have to be a combination of this in order to, you know what I'm saying, like feel like worthy of like respect, to feel worthy of attention, like I did a session at the North Carolina African American Cultural Celebration in 2020, right before COVID. Again, this is in January.
Right.
And you know, I like submitted to, you know, like do a spoken word dialogue on mental health in the Black community. So I just facilitated a conversation about, you know what I'm saying, how we treat mental health in the Black community, and I just sprinkled, you know, like poems in there that, you know, connected to the theme. And when I had, you know, like signed, you know, when they confirmed everything, like I really wasn't expecting anybody to like show up. Like just because I was like, bro, like
they came on out though.
You know, look, I walked into the room, I was like, am I in the right room? Like, bro, like it was packed out. So of course I had some family members, you know what I'm saying, towards the front. I had a frat brother, and my mentor and his wife, they had came. Shout out LJ and Monica. I love y'all.
Talking about LJ from Fayetteville?
Yeah.
That's a smart dude, bro. We've met before, but if he seen me, he wouldn't know me. I just know of him. Yo, I be listening to his poetry. I be like, yo, this guy's smart as hell, bro. His stuff is like damn near nerdy. Like I gotta go look up stuff after I listen. I'm like, yo, all right, I don't even know about that. Let me. Yeah, he's smart, bro.
Look, and look, he's taken me under his wing these past couple years, because I be in Fayetteville a lot. But yeah, so like, there were the people that I was expecting to come, and then there were like a whole bunch of other people that I was like, oh,
who the hell are these people?
Oh, snap. I was like, bro, like, y'all came to listen to me? And then I went through the presentation, and, you know, like, they started asking me questions at the end. I was like, well, yeah, of course, you know, questions.
Right.
I was like, yo, they like ask, like, they saw value in what I was saying.
Because if they didn't, they wouldn't ask no questions.
And now they're asking me questions. Turns out one of the ladies in the crowd, she's a retired, she was a retired, like mental health, counselor or such as, or she like taught and whatnot at A&T. And she had pulled me to the side and she was like, yeah, you know, like I want to, you know, like bring you to like some of these conferences and, you know, like do this, and this. Of course, all that had to get put on hold and, you know what I'm saying, on the back burner because of COVID. But I mean, like it was then, and then one other time I'll be, you know what I'm saying, kind of quick with it. But
you good.
And then one other time when I was at school, when I was in Pembroke, I was leaving class kind of late, and they were doing a open mic in the university center, and I wasn't gonna do no poems.
Okay.
Because, you know, I was just there to listen.
Right.
But of course, you know what I'm saying, by that time on campus, like they had already, like people had already seen me do like.
Right. They like, you gonna do some
yeah,
poems tonight.
You're the guy. Yeah, exactly. They were like, oh no, you're the poetry guy. If there's one thing we know you do, it's poetry.
Right.
And Black people. You know about poetry and Black people. So I was just gonna chill, but they was like, oh Nick, come on to the stage. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do one. And then I ended up doing another one, you know what I'm saying? I ended up coming back.
Right.
But then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, you know, I was just chilling, wasn't going up there trying to be extravagant. And then I had this, it was some random white girl had came up to me after I got done with the poem. Well, after the event ended. And I was like talking to some of my friends. She was like, wow, you know, I really like enjoyed like your poetry. Like I've never heard, you know what I'm saying, poetry like that. Well, you know, I would pay to see you perform. And at that time, I wasn't thinking anything about, you know what I'm saying?
All it takes is one.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Because people pay for value, man. People pay for what they can feel. And if you make them feel something, you add value, you impact them in a way, they'll pay for it. And they'll pay a lot of money for it too.
Like, bro, and like, again, it goes back to what we was talking about earlier.
Pull your mic. Oh, just hit it flat. That's all. Yep.
Oh, there we go. You know what I'm saying? Have my chest there. That's the free trial. Y'all subscribe to my OnlyFans for more. But nah, man, it goes back to what we was talking about earlier, man. Just, you know, if everyone else can recognize, you know what I'm saying, your value, but if you don't recognize it,
it ain't no
you know
good.
What I'm saying, then it ain't no good.
Or it ain't as good as it should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like now, I'm just not getting to the point where, you know, I'm starting to try to, you know, capitalize, you know what I'm saying, on that value within reason.
Right.
You know, like discerning, you know what I'm saying, how I, you know what I'm saying, move.
Oh, the people will let you know. The people will let you know how I can go. I mean, man, it's crazy. The next show is a free show, but the VIP tickets, there's some experience tickets.
Oh, yeah.
The highest one is a $300 ticket. My very first show, I was struggling charging people $20. And so over time, you know what I'm saying? What really got me, I remember this lady was talking to me and Crystal, and she was like, she knew about the show. This was the second Inspired show, but she didn't come. I'm like, oh, I always ask people, why you ain't come?
Right.
She was like, oh, I saw it was only, I think at that time, $25. She's like, I saw it was only $25, so I figured it was some bullshit. Bet. Don't worry about it. And so then over time, you know, adding value and then understanding, like, yo, people, like, we offer a lot. And yeah, we got different levels of tickets.
It's levels to this, literally.
But there's people that want this level and they want to pay $300 so they can have this type of experience. And then I also was talking with a friend recently, and I'm like, yo, by next November, 2022, I want to have a $1,000 ticket. And she was like, $1,000? Even my brother was like, yo, $1,000, bro? I don't know. I said, listen, it may never get to that, or it may be $5,000 one day. I don't know.
Come on now.
I said, but I don't want to only charge $300 if it's supposed to be $1,000. Because if I'm giving the value, so to what you were saying, when she said that, then that ignites something. Because then you want to pay for it? Oh, okay. How much do you charge? And then you just throw out some low number.
Oh my God, bro.
You throw out some low number because you don't even think about it. You don't even know at the time that somebody even, so that didn't caught you off guard. You throw out some low number. They pay, oh yeah, sure. Then you realize, oh, Dad, they pay for that kind of quick.
That's my life. That's been my life up to this point. LJ had to get on me for that. He was like, look, because I had accepted a feature, because like I was like, man, I just need to get some money real quick. You know what I'm saying? Just something real quick. But I had accepted a feature. I told him. He was like, so how much they paying you? I was like, they paying me, you know what I'm saying, X amount for X amount of time. He was like, okay. After this event, you don't charge any less than this amount because of, you know, X, Y, and Z that you've done. And like I even had to talk to my mama about that. Cause I got a deal with Beats by Dre. Y'all go buy y'all those Beats pods.
That's crazy.
Y'all go buy those off of TikTok. And they had asked me, they was like when they had reached out to me, at first I thought it was spam. You know, people hit me my email with bullshit all the time.
Crazy.
So they was like, yeah, so the campaign will last this amount of time, and you know, we want to know like how much you charge. I was like, how much I charge? So you know, I talked it over with my girl. I was like, all right, look, I'm gonna tell them this number. It was the higher number on my end. But I really want this number, which was the lower number. I was like, I'll be good. Yeah. I was like, I'll be good with this. But this is the number that, you know what I'm saying, I'm giving, you know, kind of test out the waters. She was like, all right, cool. And then
I already know what happened.
And then they took the high number. And I was like, yeah. And then
you still got underpaid.
And then about a week or two later, I went to my mama's house, and you know what I'm saying, like she cooked spaghetti that day. And I went to my mama's house, and I was talking to her about it, and she was like, oh yeah, that's good. So how much are they gonna pay you? I was like, they're gonna pay me this amount. You know what I'm saying? She was like, yeah, I mean that's good and all, but you know, they're a bigger company, so you know, don't you think you should have asked for, you know, a little more? And I was like,
I did ask for a little more. That's what I thought.
You feel me? And I'm like, look, you know, I ain't gonna disclose the amount. But you know what I'm saying? It was definitely over $1,000. And she was like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, like, that's good right now. But like they see basically, and then my homeboy had hit me up, and you know what I'm saying, we was chopping it up, and he was like, bro, like they already see, you know what I'm saying, like what you're doing, like the value in what you do.
Yeah.
And they came to you off of the strength of what I do on the regular.
Right.
So he was like, whatever you got to do, build on this, but then, you know what I'm saying, don't settle for anything less.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out Sean Keith Sweat, my brother, Muhammad, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, like, and I think that moving forward, for anybody that really doesn't know their value, it's real easy to get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially by, like a big company. Not that Beats by Dre would ever take advantage of me.
And then sometimes it's not even them taking advantage, it's just you not knowing
exactly
your worth.
Exactly.
And then sometimes it's crazy. I think I can say this. One time, so I've been trying to get Crystal to let me like do her booking for a minute.
Right.
Sometimes she do, sometimes she don't. But this was back a couple years ago, and she got booked for this gig. Well, the lady was trying to book her for the gig.
Oh.
And we just happened to be in the car that day together. We had just came from a venue or something. And she was like, oh man. I'm like, what? She was like, yeah, this lady wants to book me. But that's the day we got our first erotic show. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, did you find out what the event is? How much they paying? She was like, nah, we got. I was like, listen. I said, listen, if you only ever do my events, or no, if you're able to do all of the events that I ever have, you never reach your potential. I said, yo, you already know I ain't never held you back from nothing. Like, I want you to get the world, you know what I mean? So I was like, hit the lady back, at least find out what's going on.
Right.
If they gonna pay you more than what I'm paying you, then you need to go.
By all means, facts.
You know what I mean? So she hits the lady back. Turns out it's an event where there's a A-list star coming in. It's a private birthday dinner. It's gonna be at a place that is out of town, so a whole nother audience that ain't never seen before. So I'm like, girl, you tripping. So without me putting all the business in the street,
facts.
I was like, yo. She was like, how much should I ask for? I'm like, okay, well, I pay you this much, so, yo, ask for this much, right? So they messaging. So she messaged the lady, bruh, within like 20 seconds, lady texts back, all right, send me the invoice. So she's happy. She's like, yo. And I'm just like, and she's like, yo, what's wrong? And I'm like, yo, I just got you underpaid. And she was like, yo, but I'm making da-da-da-da. I was like, yo, she texts back in 20 seconds, bruh.
That is an issue.
I said, it's a good thing because this is the most you ever made from a gig, like, da-da-da. But you just got underpaid by a nice little bit. And so even somebody from the outside knowing that person's worth is more than what they think it is, yes, I still was undervaluing her at that point in time. And so
it's tricky, man.
It is, cause you don't know, cause sometimes you say a number and people like I've reached out to poets before for Inspired, and I remember one guy in particular, he hit me back. He was like, yo, thanks for the consideration, my honorarium. Anytime somebody say honorarium, you know they're about to hit you anyway.
Bread. Bread.
He said, yeah, my honorarium is $1,500, and I appreciate you reaching back out. Once I get to that point, I'll make sure I have a note to make sure I reach back out to you, but I can't. I'm not at that point, and I'm not gonna try. Where I would have to talk you down to, that would be an insult to you. So I'm like, yo, I appreciate you reaching back out. Once I get to that point where I'm paying people $1,500 to come through, got you. You know what I mean? But knowing your worth is big, man, because then you don't just accept any old thing that come along.
Exactly, bro. Because, and then look, you become more intentional in what you do accept, because like you don't want to like over. So like what I was doing early on was I was just like running myself ragged for like a bunch of like little things.
Yeah.
Just because I was like that, like I was chasing value,
Right.
not realizing that I had it the whole time.
Right.
And it's just like, I'm just like running myself into the ground for like all these like little things, but then like once you like take a step back and just like look at, you know, like what value are these little things like bringing to like whatever audience or like whatever, you know what I'm saying, it's trying to cater to, and you sit back and think like, oh, it's really not.
It ain't worth it.
It's really not what it's cracked up to be.
Right.
And then like once you take that time that you would take, you know, doing the little things to, you know, just like chill, you know, like recharge a little bit, and then, you know what I'm saying, like hone in on your craft, work on your craft a little more, and then you come back better. That's when even better opportunities, even if they do happen to be far and few in our minds, you know what I'm saying? That's when better opportunities will like make themselves, you know what I'm saying?
That's what
present
Matthew McConaughey did. Do you know his story
I
from?
don't.
So long story short, he was the rom-com guy. He was getting paid the most. He was like one of the highest grossing actors in the rom-com sector, killing it. Every movie though, rom-com. He typecast.
Typecast, boy, that thing's something serious.
And he finally realized, like, yo, this ain't what I want my legacy to be in this space. I wanna do stuff that has substance to it as well. Like, that's cool, I did that, but I wanna grow. So he was trying to actively get his agent that nobody wanted, because he the rom-com guy.
Facts.
Bruh, he told his agent nothing else. Tell him no, every single one of them. If it's rom-com, if it's not something that's out of the box, that has depth to it, I'm not doing it. Came to him, he turned out like literally like almost 100 scripts, like just turn them down. Then he said this one company came and was like, yo, we'll pay you, I think at the time it was like $8 million to do this film. He was like, nah. It came back, yo, we'll pay you $10 million. Nope. Came back, was like, yo, we'll pay you $14 million. He was like, man, I ain't never made that on a film before. But he said no. He went without work in Hollywood for over 2 years.
That's a long time in Hollywood time, bro. That's a long time.
That's death.
That's
death in Hollywood. He went without work for over 2 years. If I'm not mistaken, the first joint he did when he came back was a joint called Killer Joe, which was a weird movie. They had a scene in there where he act like he got his dig out, but it's actually a piece of fried chicken.
Oh wow!
And he's making the girl suck.
Bro, I've seen that
crazy
clip
movie?
on Twitter, bro. I've seen that clip on Twitter.
It's crazy. But then after that, that's when he did, if I'm not mistaken, Dallas Buyers Club.
Wow.
Then he did Interstellar.
Wow.
And then now his whole career is just completely changed. But he was like, yo, I had to literally be like, I'm not doing that no more. And really understand his worth, his value, and what he wanted his legacy to be. But then not only that, be like, I know this can be a death sentence, and normally is, taking this much time off and telling everybody no when I'm typecast.
Man.
But because he knew who he was and what he had to offer,
stand firm in it.
He stood on that joint, yo. Even when they threw all the money they could at him.
When you serious about, I know that for 14, man.
14, bro. But right after that, he did Killer Joe, then he did Dallas Buyers Club, and that's when he won his Oscar.
When it's for you, man.
When it's for you. When it's for you. So yeah, man, that's real. I always feel like that's real big in knowing your worth and realizing. And so I'm glad, like, and it's crazy because I don't feel 38. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I am, but I don't feel 38. So I always feel like anybody I'm talking to, unless they, you know, a teenager or something,
Facts.
like we're peers, like for real. But at your young age, I can say that. The young age that you're at, for you to tap into that is dope to know, because you starting way ahead of where a lot of people start at. I'm thankful because, like I asked you about your childhood, like I always had nothing but affirmations. So for me, it was, if I'm not great by the time I die, I didn't do what I was supposed to do.
Nah, facts.
I ain't live up because everybody, ever since I was knee high to a grasshopper, as they say in the country,
facts.
told me like, yo, you got this potential. Like white teachers, black teachers, it didn't matter. My middle school teacher, Miss Morton, I love her to death. I hope I can get her for this next show. Miss Morton in middle school was on my head. And I remember telling her, I'm like, y'all don't care about middle school? Like,
It's middle school.
Right, it's middle school. Like, I'll do my work when I get to high school. And so it got to a point where when I got ready to go to high school, she was like, I don't care what you say. You belong in honors English class. She was like, I don't care how many books you didn't read in my class. I don't care how many papers you didn't write, because I was just like, I ain't doing this stuff. And she always just pulled me aside and we talked and we discussed certain things. Yo, she made them put me in honors English class when I got to to high school. And then that kind of reintroduced it, because I was writing a little bit of poetry in middle school for girls. But then my honors English teacher, Miss Emmanuel, wound up introducing me to like Edgar Allan Poe and, you know, some of the old greats and stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's the only person that ever had me perform. That's the only time I've ever actually performed a poem.
For real?
She made me perform The Raven.
Ah, Nevermore.
Yes.
Rapping on my chamber door.
She made me perform that, but she really got me into thinking about poetry from a different lens outside of just trying to write for girls. But that's all I ever got. So I ain't gonna say I always knew my worth as far as a dollar figure goes.
Yeah.
But I always was like, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah, I made all conference. Yeah, I was supposed to make all conference.
Nah, facts.
You know what I mean? So when people who necessarily didn't have the same upbringing that I had or have nothing but affirmation galore, and they struggle with that, when they get to that point, no matter how old, I'm like, yo, like that's what's up, because now you about to ascend.
Hey, look, man, because listen, you know what I'm saying? Like my mama, she would affirm me. Mm-hmm. Grandma, of course, of course.
Right.
Of course, my grandma. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Aunties, uncles, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I didn't see them as much, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was going through, like, I think that, you know what I'm saying, early on, like, they were huge.
Right.
So, like, it always stuck in the back of my mind. I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, greatness is an expectation, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't nothing out of the ordinary. But then I think that, you know what I'm saying, like, when you get into those formative years, you know what I'm saying, like, when you start getting to, like, middle, early high school, and you're like, damn, I don't know.
Looking around.
And then, I don't know. Yeah. So it's just like you still like doing your thing.
Right.
You still, you know what I'm saying, achieving and you know, like making your own way. But it's like, dang, like I'm not hearing them as much because I'm not around as much.
Right.
And then you know what I'm saying, like schedules change, things change. You know what I'm saying,
atmosphere,
things happen.
environment.
You know what I'm saying, things happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, man, you know, I'm still very, very grateful, you know, for my upbringing.
Indeed.
You know, the trauma and all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's no telling, you know, there's no, I don't even know if I would be writing poetry. Had, you know what I'm saying, some things, you know what I'm saying, going the way I wanted them to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But,
yeah, we at where we at because we here.
Exactly. Come on, brother. Come on.
We at where we at because we here, bro. But that's real, though. That's real. So in wrapping up, in the beginning, I asked you, who do you think you are? Now I'm going to ask you, who do you think you will be?
Man, I think I'm going to be a terrific father when it's that time. Not now. But, you know
not now.
When it's that time, I'm gonna continue to be, you know, I'm gonna be a great professor, teacher,
okay,
an orator,
okay,
and I'm just gonna keep being a, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna be a great human being,
right?
I'm gonna be a great man of God. Shout out to the notorious G.O.D. The notorious G.O.D. Because without him, there would be no me. You know.
Right.
And man, like I'm gonna be a great, you know, supporter, you know, of my people. You know what I'm saying, like of my family. and then, you know, great folks, you know, like you out here,
Appreciate
you know what I'm saying, making your own wave, making your own impact. And man, I'm just excited, man.
Word. Well, listen, I'm gonna be around to, you know, I don't drink, but I toast with some water, some orange
Come on
juice.
now, come on
Toast
now.
with a whole bunch of those, man, for all your accomplishments and all that good stuff, man. Like I've met a lot of good people, and a lot of people who are doing a lot of good things in the last 3 years. And so I'm just thankful to be, you know, to be able to meet a Nick Courmon, you know, to meet a Crystal the Muse, to meet, you know, a lot of the different people that I've met that are moving and shaking. And I've been able to have a lot of conversations. I ain't gonna say a lot, but I've had some conversations behind closed doors with some people that have already accomplished some things that have, again, affirmed
There it is.
me and what I'm doing, and that is making an impact on other people who already were in a space doing something.
Come on now.
So I'm real excited to continue to connect and be in those spaces where I can support y'all, where I can be like, yeah, I remember when he said he was gonna be a professor. You know, be able to see your son when he's 5 years old and be like, yo, your dad told me he was gonna be a good dad. Yo, you better make sure you good. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to the future, man, and seeing things grow for yourself and for everybody else.
And Dreamville. I'm gonna be on Dreamville.
Yo, that's gonna be crazy.
I'm gonna be on Dreamville.
That's gonna be crazy.
All right.
That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. But I appreciate you coming through, bro.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you having me, man.
That is the end of the podcast. I still have not figured out what I'm gonna say to y'all at the end of the podcast. I really don't know as he throws up the gang signs.
Peace on earth. I went to see Rakim perform one time. He said, "Peace is never apart, always together." Remember that. Peace.
Okay, Rakim.
You feel me?
Peace is never. See, that's what I should have thought of. So then I could have used it, but it could have been my own. I don't want to be like, yo, so Rakim said. I want to be like, da-da-da. I'm going to figure out something to say that I can actually remember. I wanted to write like a little line of poetry, but I never remember my stuff.
Oh, dang.
Well, I ain't going to say never, but most of the time I don't.
Nah, I feel that.
90% of it, I write it, and that's why I give it to other people. But I'm going to figure out something to say to y'all at the end of these during podcasts. It's going to be impactful, and it's going to make it look like I'm very smart while sitting here.
That's right.
Thanks for tuning in. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, and we'll see y'all next time.
Click that thing.